Imagine having everything. Billions of fans, world tours, Super Bowl halftime shows, your face on every magazine cover, your songs playing in every corner of the planet. Now imagine losing your voice, not metaphorically, literally. In 2017, Shakira walked into her rehearsal room, opened her mouth to sing, and something was wrong. A strange hoarseness, something that shouldn't be there. The doctors confirmed her worst nightmare: vocal cord hemorrhage. And that was just one of her problems. At the same time, her 12-year relationship was crumbling. Her father had a horrific accident. The Spanish government was hunting her for $15 million in taxes. And the man she gave up everything for, her career, her freedom, her identity, was cheating on her. So, today, we're going to talk about the woman the world calls the Queen of Latin Pop, and the crown she's been hiding underneath. This is Why It Sucks to Be Shakira. Part 1. The childhood nobody talks about. Barranquilla, Colombia. A small house, a little girl, and a dream way too big for her circumstances. Shakira Isabel Mubarak Ripoll, that's her full name, daughter of a Lebanese-American father and a Colombian mother. Two cultures fused into one child, a mix that would later define her entire musical identity. But here's the thing nobody tells you. Shakira's childhood was not a fairy tale. Her father, William Mubarak, lost his business. The family struggled financially. Shakira herself said it best in a candid interview. "I was a simple Colombian girl, from a family that had nothing." Think about that. The woman who would later sign billion-dollar deals, perform at the Super Bowl, and break streaming records, grew up with nothing. At age 4, she saw belly dancing for the first time and felt something ignite inside her. By age 8, she wrote her first poem. By age 10, her first song. But school? School was brutal. Her classmates mocked her. They said she sang like a goat, that her voice was weird, that she was too different, too strange, too much. Picture a 10-year-old girl whose dream is to sing, and every single day kids laugh at her for it. What did she do? She went home, sat on her father's desk and sang anyway, and her father looked at her and said, "The world is wrong. You are right." That one moment changed everything. She made a decision that day. No matter how many times the world tried to stop her, she would never stop singing. Part 2. Getting rejected twice. When Sony gave up on her 6:14 black and white visuals. Old recording studio aesthetic. Shakira is 13 years old. Sony Music Colombia signs her. For a teenage girl from a struggling family, this was extraordinary. Her debut album drops. Magia, Magic, and Nothing climbed commercial failure. Radio wouldn't play it. Nobody bought it. The world didn't care. That's okay, she probably thought. The second album will be better. Second album, Peligro, Danger, and once again, silence. This is the moment most people quit. 2 failed albums before you're 17. Industry executives telling you to give up. Sony losing interest. The label that discovered you slowly backing away. She was a teenager facing the music industry's cruelest message: you're not good enough. But Shakira didn't quit. Instead, she did something unexpected. She went back to school. She focused on her studies. She kept writing songs, kept performing, kept sharpening her craft. Then in 1994, a theater producer noticed her and helped her land a role in a Colombian soap opera called El Oasis. Shakira, who wanted to be a singer, became a TV actress just to survive, just to stay in the entertainment world, just to keep some version of the dream alive. But she never stopped writing music, and in 1995, album number 3, Pies Descalzos, Bare Feet, boom, Latin America went crazy, hits everywhere. The girl who failed twice was now a sensation. The lesson? 2 failures plus 1 stubborn girl equals legend. But the real storms, they were still coming. Ask on Part 3, Going Global, and Losing Herself, Laundry Service album. Shakira decided to conquer the English-speaking world. A Colombian woman, who had sung in Spanish her entire life, now had to prove herself in a completely different arena. An industry that judged your accent, that treated Latin American artists as trends, not legends. where you had to constantly prove you weren't just a novelty, she pulled it off. Whenever, wherever became a global phenomenon. Europe, America, Asia. Her name was everywhere. But listen to what she said in a recent interview about that era. There were no shortcuts to reaching my goals. I had to work hard, like carving stone under the sun. Back then, Spanish language songs topped international charts or headlined major festivals. She wasn't just fighting for her career. She was fighting for the entire Latin music genre. She was breaking down walls so artists like Bad Bunny, Maluma, and Karol G could one day walk through them. Then 2006, Hips Don't Lie, with Wyclef Jean. That was the moment Shakira became truly, undeniably global. But here's the dark side of that moment, at the peak of her fame, when the whole world was calling her the Queen of Latin Pop. Shakira was losing herself. She admitted it herself years later. I got lost in a cloud of hairdressers, makeup artists, and assistants for years. I had lost myself. That's fame's most brutal trick. The whole world thinks they know you, but you no longer know yourself. And then, 2010, South Africa. The FIFA World Cup, a Spanish football player walked onto her music video set, and everything changed. Dayscreen's Parts, Part 4, The Love That Cost Her Everything, the Piqué Story, South Africa, World Cup stage. Shakira was performing Waka Waka, what would become one of the most watched World Cup songs in history. And then, a tall, handsome Spanish defender stepped into her world, Gerard Piqué, FC Barcelona's star, Spain's national hero. Athletic, charming, successful. He asked for her number. She said yes. By 2011, they confirmed their relationship publicly. The world was thrilled. The media was thrilled. Fans were thrilled. But here's what nobody was asking. What was Shakira giving up? She uprooted her entire life and moved to Barcelona. For him, for his career, Shakira, the woman whose songs reached billions, who sold out stadiums worldwide, who had already conquered the global music industry. She packed up and moved to a city in Spain so that her boyfriend could play football. She said it herself in a 2024 interview with The Times UK. For a long time, I put my career on hold to be next to Gerard so that he could play football. There was a lot of sacrifice for love. In 2013, their son, Milan, was born. In 2015, their son, Sasha, followed. Shakira was now a mother, a partner, and a system. And she took every single one of those roles with total seriousness, so seriously that her own music career became, her words, her third priority. Third priority. The woman who broke through the Latin music barrier, who opened doors for an entire generation, who literally was third, no world tours, her career tours. Limited recording, no spotlight, just raising kids, supporting her partner, and quietly wondering if she'd ever fully reclaim the version of herself that existed before Barcelona. And then, 2022. The news that shook the world. Piqué was cheating, pause. Let it breathe. 12 years. 2 children. A career sacrificed. An identity surrendered. And according to multiple reports, Shakira found out partly because of a strawberry jam jar, a jam flavor she didn't eat. But someone had been eating it. Dark pause, 12 years, 2 kids. Everything she gave, and it came down to strawberry jam. In June 2022, they officially announced their separation. Shakira went quiet. She processed. She didn't give interviews. She protected her boys. And then, she picked up a pen. Part 5. The song that destroyed Piqué. January 2023, Shakira released Bizarrap Music Sessions 53 with Argentine producer Bizarrap. And this was not an ordinary breakup song. This was a precision strike. She compared Piqué's new girlfriend to a Twingo, a cheap economy car, and herself to a Ferrari. She called him out publicly, referenced the tax debt Spain left her with, and aired their entire story for the world to hear. She literally sang about leaving her with his mother as a neighbor, the press at her door, and a debt to the Spanish treasury. The song exploded. Within 24 hours, records shattered. Within weeks, won worldwide. It won the Latin Grammy for Song of the Year. People on her preem had urged her to soften the lyrics. She refused. People on my team tried to convince me to change the lyrics. But I'm not a UN diplomat. I am an artist and, above all, a woman. And Piqué? He's never been able to respond. What would he even say? But real life is never just about one victory, because while she was writing that song, something else was happening. Sing Part 6. The Spanish government came for her. $15 million. Let's talk about the tax case. Because it's more complicated and more unfair than most people understand. Between 2012 and 2014, Shakira was officially a resident of the Bahamas for tax purposes. Spain's government said, "No, you were actually living here with Piqué." Their claim? 14.5 million euros, roughly $15 million, in unpaid taxes, and the proposed punishment? 8 years and 2 months in prison, plus a $25 million fine. Think about the timing. The year is 2022. Shakira's relationship is disintegrating. Her father is in the hospital, and prosecutors announce 6 counts of tax fraud against her, potentially putting her in prison for 8 years. Shakira maintained her innocence completely. She had hired PricewaterhouseCoopers, one of the top 4 accounting firms in the world, who assured her she was doing everything correctly. "I've paid everything they claimed I owed, even before they filed a lawsuit. So as of today, I owe 0 to them," she told Elle magazine. But the case dragged on. November 2023, Shakira settled a $7.6 million fine, a 3-year suspended jail sentence. She never went to trial. She never admitted guilt, but she made a decision for her kids. While I was determined to defend my innocence in a trial that my lawyers were confident would have ruled in my favor, I have made the decision to finally resolve this matter with the best interest of my kids at heart. An innocent woman, by her own account and her lawyer's confidence, paying millions to make something go away, because her boys came first. Scope Part 7. The night her voice disappeared, Shakira is rehearsing at home in Barcelona. The El Dorado World Tour is coming. Tickets are sold out. Fans across the globe are waiting. Everything is set. And then, a strange hoarseness. She ignored it at first. Drank water. Rested. Assumed it was just fatigue. But it didn't go away, the doctors confirmed. Vocal cord hemorrhage. A blood vessel in her right vocal cord had ruptured. Their recommendation? Surgery. But for a singer, surgery on vocal cords carries the risk of permanent damage, of never fully recovering your voice, of losing the one thing that defines you. Shakira refused the surgery. She tried alternative treatments, hypnosis, meditation. She traveled to Lourdes, France, a holy site, and brought back holy water. For weeks, she communicated with her family entirely in sign language. She couldn't speak. She couldn't sing. She couldn't even hum. And she fell apart. She later told The Guardian, "I always thought there were going to be things in my life that would go away, like beauty, youth, all of that stuff. But I never thought that my voice would leave me, because it's so inherent to my nature. It was my identity. So when I couldn't sing, that was unbearable. There were times I couldn't even get out of bed. I was so depressed." She added, "I was not positive. I was so pessimistic. I was a bitter person to be around. Gerard saw the worst of me." A singer losing her voice is what a painter losing their sight would be. The one thing she'd fought for her entire life. The thing that survived classmates mocking her, 2 album failures, industry rejection, it was gone. But then, something happened that she called a religious experience. The voice came back without surgery, without permanent damage. Her body healed itself. And when she walked onto a stage in Los Angeles in 2018 for her comeback show, she wept. The audience wept. A woman who had stared at the end and refused to accept it. So, Part 8. Her father, a daughter's silent pain. June 22. The breakup announcement had just gone public. The tax case was escalating. And then one more blow. Shakira's 90-year-old father, William Mubarak, the man who told her the world was wrong when classmates laughed at her singing, had a severe fall, multiple facial bones broken, rushed to the hospital. Shakira was in the ambulance with him. She posted posts on social media. My dad, unfortunately, had a bad fall and I accompanied him in the ambulance to the hospital where he is recovering. Later, she shared a video, standing in front of her elderly father with large note cards, helping him practice cognitive exercises after brain surgery, the woman who performs for millions, helping her father read words off a flashcard. She told the magazine what happened in the months that followed. He had brain surgery, and then, a week later, he fell again and broke many bones face. In one summer, a betrayal, a tax indictment, and a father fighting to recover in a hospital bed. Any one of those things would break most people, all three, simultaneously. Stiskin, Part 9, Miami. A fresh start, completely alone. Early 2023, Shakira left Barcelona, the city where she spent 12 years, the city where her children were born, the city where she made the biggest sacrifices of her life. She moved to Miami, with her 2 boys, no husband, and a career to rebuild. New city, new energy, new chapter, but new doesn't mean easy. She told Billboard, "Now I can release music at a faster clip, although sometimes I think being a single mom and the rhythm of a pop star aren't compatible. I have to put my kids to bed, go to the recording studio. Everything is uphill. When you don't have a husband who can stay home with the kids, it's constant juggling because I like to be a present mom. I need to be there every moment with my children, take them to school, have breakfast with them, take them to play dates. And aside from that, I have to make money." That last line, "I have to make money." One of the most commercially successful artists in history talking about the daily pressure of making ends meet as a single parent, because fame doesn't pay for school pickups. Fame doesn't hold your kids when they cry about their parents splitting up. Fame doesn't fill the silence in a house that used to have 4 people and now has 3. But Miami gave her something back: creative freedom, musical connections, a version of herself she hadn't been in years. In 2023 and 2024, she released hit after hit. The Bizarrap session broke records. Te Felicito, Monotonia. The album Las Mujeres Ya No Lloran, Women No Longer Cry, dropped in March 2024. 16 songs. Afrobeats, bachata, Tex-Mex, pop, every genre she'd ever absorbed poured into one album. Latin Grammy, VMA's Vanguard Award. The woman whose life was in ruins in 2022 was one of the most streamed Spanish-language artists in the world by 2024. Part 10. The woman behind the performer. Slow down. Calm. Honest. We need to stop for a second. Because this video isn't just about gossip or drama. This is about understanding what's actually behind the image. We all see stage Shakira, red carpet Shakira, music video Shakira, awards show Shakira. But there's another Shakira, the one who cried alone in a bathroom in Barcelona after her kids went to sleep, the one who used sign language to communicate because her voice was gone, the one who sat in an ambulance next to her injured father while also getting hit with federal tax charges, the one who gave up years of her career willingly for a man who repaid her with betrayal, the one who, at 13 years old, signed a record deal and then failed twice in a row and kept going anyway. That Shakira, nobody puts her on a magazine cover. But she's the real one. And here's the thing that makes her genuinely extraordinary. It's not the awards, it's not the records, it's not the revenge songs. It's that through every single one of those moments, the failures, the betrayal, the health crisis, the legal battles, the grief, she never fully stopped. She bent, she broke, she cried, she stayed in bed, and then she got back up. Part 11. Piqué versus Shakira. Where are they now? Let's do a quick scoreboard. Piqué retired from professional football, running a smaller venture, significantly less relevant in the global conversation. The man who was once one of the most celebrated defenders in Europe now mostly shows up in headlines because of Shakira's songs. Shakira, world tour, billion streams, international awards, a new album, brand partnerships, a comeback that the music industry is still trying to fully process. The universe settled the score on its own. But here's the part Shakira herself wanted to make clear. This wasn't about revenge. When people pressed her on whether the Bizarrap song was payback, she pushed back. People on my team tried to convince me to change the lyrics. But I'm not a UN diplomat. I am an artist and, above all, a woman. This wasn't revenge. This was expression. This was survival. This was a woman who had been quiet for too long, through the relationship, through the sacrifice, through the public humiliation finally speaking, and the world listened, closing. The real lesson, slow fade. Emotional underscore. Shakira alone on stage, so why does it suck to be Shakira? Because when the whole world is singing your songs, you're crying alone, because when 50,000 people are cheering for you on stage, your father is recovering from brain surgery. Because when you think love is real and permanent, you find out through a strawberry jam jar. Because when your voice is the most powerful instrument on the planet, it suddenly disappears. Because when you try to do everything right, the government still comes for $15 million. And because when you give 12 years of your life to someone, they walk away. But here's what Shakira's story actually teaches us. It's not about how many times life hits you. It's about what you do after. A girl who had nothing but Aquila, a teenager who failed twice and kept going. A woman who gave up everything for love and then rebuilt herself from the ground up. A mother who put her kids first even when everything was burning. An artist who refused surgery on her vocal cords because she wasn't ready to accept that her voice was gone. That's not a pop star. That's a human being who refused to be defeated. And maybe, just maybe, that's why her music hits the way it does, because it comes from someone who actually lived it. Las mujeres ya no lloran. Women no longer cry. Subscribe, like, comment your favorite Shakira moment below. And if you want more stories like this, hit the bell. Next episode is going to hit just as hard.